Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. When Liverpool lined up to take on Aston Villa, most people expected a routine win for the Reds. However, after Jurgen Klopp and Dean Smith pit their wits against each other, the Villains romped to the win, thanks to goals by Watkins, Grealish, McGinn and Barkley, whilst Mo Salah netted for the Reds. The XG indicated it was a deserved win for Villa, although they did get the rub of the green. The XG time map also shows that Villa were ahead from the start, and Liverpool never really closed this gap. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. A quick reminder of the formations used by both sides, as seen on the OneFootball app. OneFootball will get you match updates, formation updates, as well as player and team stats, and so much more. And the best part is, you can get it absolutely free through the sponsored link in the description below. Let's start by looking at what Liverpool looked to do with the ball, as they dominated with almost 70% possession. Liverpool looked to play out short, as usual, trying to find the centre-backs who would split the width of the box, which would allow Trent and Robertson to push higher up the pitch. Villa didn't always press, probably aided by the fact that they were ahead early on, so they could afford to sit deeper, and they had a much higher passes per defensive action of almost 15. So on occasion, Villa were willing to press high in these scenarios, with Grealish and Barkley pushing onto the centre-backs whilst Trezeguet stayed deeper. Usually, with Alisson between the posts, they have a keeper good enough with the ball at his feet to be the extra outfield player. However, Adrian when pressed was very vulnerable. This was on full display for Villa's first goal. From the back pass, Gomez and Van Dijk split the box and Barkley and Grealish push onto the centre-backs and Watkins pushes onto Adrian. A poor attempted pass to Gomez allows Grealish to pick up the ball and easily pick out Watkins in space, who finishes. But when the Liverpool centre-backs did get onto the ball higher up the pitch, at times they would try to build with a back two. This wasn't ideal, as Villa primarily defended with a front two consisting of Watkins and Barkley, who would push up from the midfield alongside him. This means that in this shape, Liverpool wouldn't have the numerical advantage here. But rather than press, Villa's front two mainly looked to cut off the route into Fabinho, as he is the team's metronome, and at times, Liverpool tried to adapt to this by forming a double pivot. But this shape contributes to the fifth Villa goal. Barkley and Watkins are high, and Liverpool shift into a double pivot. Barkley cuts off the route into Fabinho. Gomez's poor attempted pass into Wijnaldum is cut off, and Villa spring forward, spreading it wide to Grealish. He and Barkley, who had license to drift forward from midfield, then combine, leading to the deflected goal. So Liverpool looked to adapt to a back three, at times with Fabinho dropping deeper between the centre-backs to now have more numbers deep, and Firmino would drop deep into the midfield region to ensure that they had a numerical advantage here as well, as Barkley was high helping the press. Gomez was then often tasked with driving into the midfield on the outside of the two Villa frontmen. Often Salah would push high in these phases to become the de facto centre forward as well. Liverpool's first goal is assisted by this shape. Firmino is deeper on the pitch and the ball breaks to him, and Salah is central ahead of him, and a first time release allows him to get into the box to cross. But often, Liverpool wanted to keep Fabinho as the central outlet in the midfield, so they needed alternate ways of forming the back three. This could be by Robertson tucking in, however, Liverpool needed him as their main attacking outlet, as they primarily attacked down the left-hand side. So instead, Trent could tuck in to the right centre-back role on the build-up, and generally, he was much deeper than Robertson. However, Liverpool found the most success when Wijnaldum dropped into this left centre-back role, as this allowed them to form the overload on the left-hand side. It would allow Robertson to push extremely high with Jota, whilst Firmino often shifted across to the left, tying up a Villa pivot. If Trezeguet tried to press Wijnaldum, a ball in behind him would mean that Liverpool would have the numerical advantage. And generally, we also saw Gomez begin to switch the ball directly to Robertson much more often, as Jota often moved infield to create even more space to run in behind. Liverpool did get into a few promising positions in this manner. But when Liverpool were high up in these positions, Villa were particularly effective in transition. One of the reasons for this is that they were often willing to keep numbers high. Barkley would drop deeper looking to find space either side of Fabinho, as the other Liverpool central midfielders were high. He would often have 2 men in advance of him, with Watkins either joined by Trezeguet or Grealish on the outside. Barkley was great at driving up the pitch with the ball at his feet to then look for a shot on goal or for a pass either side. Villa also looked to take advantage of the space behind the fullbacks when Liverpool had been attacking. In transition, as Liverpool would shift their backline towards the side where the ball was, switches of play into the space in behind were on, which Villa did well to often find. But what did Villa look to do in controlled possession? Well, they weren't overly concerned with keeping possession in deeper areas, as Liverpool pressed high up with a PPDA of just over 4. They even got a chance in this manner. Instead, Martinez looked to go long into the wide areas, often to Trezeguet on the right against Trent, but he could go both ways. In fact, most of Villa's goals didn't come from intricate midfield play, but rather much more direct play. Liverpool kept an extremely high line, which is fine. However, they maintained this high line even when the man on the ball was under no pressure. As a result, it was straightforward enough for them to time the run and the pass to find a man looking to make the run in behind. We see this with the final Villa goal. The ball breaks to McGinn, who is under no pressure, and he easily threads the ball to Grealish for the 1-versus-1. Overall, this game was a huge upset, well worth the victory. Liverpool's defense has been shaky for quite a while now, and Klopp will no doubt be concerned about this. But what else did you notice? Drop it down below. As always, a shout out to everyone who's been able to support FMS on Patreon. If you want to consider helping to support the channel, whilst getting early access to videos, exclusive videos, and more rewards, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple. And a huge shout out to everyone on the Ultra tier, including Alj Lee, Nader, Eddie Usman, and Miguel. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.